So it might be helpful for you. Can you put like your desk together
Yep.
to make kind of a table?
Make a table facing each other, 2 and 2.
But let me tell you what the task is. You're going to make a sculpture, and you're going to make an emotion sculpture. So you're going to, as a group, choose an emotion and create a sculpture, and you have 10 minutes here.
We should take these on here like eyes and eyeballs.
Okay. And we can rip them.
Yeah, just we can rip like big eyeballs, and maybe we can make this into a really big mouth. Yeah. Oh my god. Should we do one on each eye?
Yeah, and then we can mess with them.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, and then just another little piece of tape too.
Somehow I want to incorporate the sock.
Somehow. It's fine.
Okay, we can do it like this then.
Just tape it.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, do that.
It can be a part of his nose. Ooh, that's actually a really good nose. He has a beak.
Oh, but what emotion is it now?
It's bored, content. You know?
I want to use the sock. I don't know what to do with it though.
Make it a goatee.
His eyebrows.
Not a goatee.
I don't know what a goatee is.
He's got his eyebrows.
This is a goatee. Oh yeah, unibrow. Well, why don't we do this?
We can make it this eyebrow, like this type of eyebrow that goes like.
I want it to be a little bit, more connected.
We have tape.
I just don't
Maybe we can
like
stack
a
it.
thing, not like a thing, you know?
We're gonna have to use the tape.
I like your idea of putting the sock on the can.
Sock on the can.
But to do what with it? Like,
I don't know.
He's gonna be a bandit.
It means something.
feels
He's covering his
mischievous.
emotions.
Our emotion is mischievous.
Is that an emotion?
I feel like I'm gonna make some trouble. Is it probably?
and then we could
Make a crown.
Like these,
oh yeah,
taped together.
and then make that a crown. But I don't know how we're gonna get to stay on the sock.
You've got 4 minutes.
Oh, we could use another popsicle stick and a.
Yeah, because he's like, all right, it's an
Like
elephant.
them pointing up, and it's like,
Or you can do point up ears, like, cause he's
it could be
already
his
flabbergasted.
eyebrows, because he's so surprised.
Oh, that would be so cute.
Right here.
How are we gonna? Maybe
We
just
like make them
kinda-
like up like that.
You just kind of, yeah, that looks better. The other way looks like it had an angry unibrow.
Or we can just like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was. Maybe we should tape the eyebrows together, like as a triangle.
Oh, again, untape from the can again.
Gosh, dang it! No, it's not strong enough tape. That's
life
no. When your whole structure just falls apart.
Okay, there you go.
It's okay, guys. Hey now. It's a cool place. We need to tape
Upside down.
tape this on better.
This is the saddest thing I've ever done.
Oh my god, that tickles.
Oh, his ponytail is acting
Is it okay if he just doesn't have a mouth? He just doesn't have a mouth. Oh, his eyebrows.
Yeah, they speak for themselves.
His eyebrows, I think they were a better idea than the mouth. Yeah, they were. I'm just trying to, man. For real, it's not going on there. My child. Oh my god. What? Weird. It's cute when you just sit it like this. Yeah, that's really cute. It's got cute eyes.
Did you say mad?
Yeah, I think he's mad.
Something like that.
Why? What makes you say mad?
I don't know, he just looks mad. He looks very unhappy, like he just wants to take it out on somebody.
Is there a part that looks unhappy to you in particular?
The nose.
Nose and eyes. Yeah.
He's been damaged.
Yeah. Damaged. Right.
Yeah.
We came up with our emotion as we went. We didn't decide on an emotion like okay, we're gonna do anger. It was like, let's just see what comes out of this.
Yeah.
So it ended up that we decided while we were looking at it, after we were finished with it, we decided it was the emotion was like prideful, because he's kind of got like the peacock stuff going on, and he's like the eyes staring at you, and he's kind of got a fancy outfit with the shiny can and the bow tie, so he's a little bit prideful.
He's up high.
Yeah.
We did a lot of different things with the socks and cans at first. Like we put both the socks in the can at first, and then we took them out. And originally the wood block was just on the bottom, and everything just kept moving around. Started out by like saying what emotions we were feeling at the moment to like throw some ideas out there, but then we were just like, well, maybe we should just like, instead of trying to make something around emotion, we'll make something and then let the emotion go around it.
Right.
It was like graduation.
What would you? Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all where are we going?
Right. So you all turn, now you'll run into each other on the other side? No, okay, that's good.
He's riding the shit on the bag.
He's doing what?
He's
Oh.
on the ship on the back.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's graduating.
Do you think that's, oh, you think he's graduating?
I don't think it's a person. I thought it was like a silo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
And like it has a crane out there.
full of grain.
Yeah.
Looks like a silo.
A silo, okay.
It looks like a
Or lighthouse. Actually, it looks more like a lighthouse to me.
A graduation cat, a lighthouse. What makes you say it's a lighthouse?
it's on the ship.
Yeah, and it's like it has the reflection on the sea, like it's shining out and say, "Come here,
Right.
boats."
Right. Yeah.
It looks like the boat got allows you close.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry. I'm wondering if like that purple popsicle stick is part of it,
Oh.
or if these other things
Did
that are
they just-
around, or if they just
Yeah.
just drop them.
Right,
Does it have a deeper meaning?
right. Yeah, right. Any other thoughts?
The arm thing sticking out.
Yeah,
It's like holding something. Maybe it's an earring.
right. Anybody want to speculate on what emotion it could be representing?
Desperation.
Frustration.
Desperation? What makes you say
Because
desperation?
that CD's like hanging by
Yeah.
a string. Is he okay?
Yeah.
The emotion is like chill or relaxed because he's just hanging.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I guess it could be also desperation, like when you're relaxed, but you know you have something to do. So you're like, I'm just hanging,
Yeah.
but I'm also just hanging.
Me all the time.
True.
I think he's scared.
It looks like two big eyes with eyebrows.
Yep. And you said scared?
Yeah, because his eyes are real wide, like, whoa.
Or he's like
Surprised, at least.
Or he's like confused and he's like, what?
What is going on?
Doesn't it look like it?
Yeah.
Look like what?
The sock looks like a ponytail.
Like a drum kit.
The sock looks like a ponytail?
Like a side ponytail.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Well, the emotion was flabbergasted. And we just decided because someone was just like, let's do flabbergasted. And we were like, that's a cool word.
Well, we tried
you
to
go?
make a mouth, but it wouldn't stay on there. And then if we made a mouth, it'd have to be like a suspension piece, and that wasn't working out. So we made the eyebrows because he's like shocked, and like the eyes are big because he's like flabbergasted. And then we just added some other stuff like the side ponytail, and the paper clips are like little hairs, and then like we called those, what are they, the flabbergasted antenna or something like that.
Yeah.
I would say just go with it. Just don't question
Yeah.
yourself. Just do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Strategic.
So, strategic. What's that mean?
Like, you had to figure out where you wanted it, like how you would get it to like do what you wanted it to do. So like if you wanted something like stand up a certain way, you had to figure out like how are you going to get it to do that.
You have to be, of course, a little bit imaginative because to make CDs look like eyes and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more abstract. You kind of just have to like think about what you're feeling
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
do that thing.
Right.
Whenever you address a political issue, you kind of have to go about it with this type of thinking, especially in a country as big as the United States, where everybody has such different points of view and such different like backgrounds. You have to go with like the mind of like open-mindedness and like imagination to form like solutions to the problems that our country is facing that like meet everybody's like expectations and wants out of our government. So, like, when you're drafting a bill or when you're trying to address maybe, like, social issues that are going on right now, like maybe, like, the Black Lives Matter movement or something like that, you have to come at it with an open mind and seeing everyone's point of view and you know.
I'm trying to think of your like piece's history because it's going to continually change as you go on through the 10 minutes that you have, and then it'll stop when you hit your 10 minutes.
I was kind of thinking like a lot of the essays that we learned to write in this class had to do with like how does this piece of history contribute to the overall trend. I was kind of thinking about like how does the popsicle stick contribute to the overall trend of like being surprised, or like how each piece contributes to that overall trend of history.
It can kind of help you like understand like when a political person like they write or say something like what they mean for it to come off as, and then what other people interpret it as. Because like when you construct something and you put something together, you're like, well, I mean for it to do this, or I mean for it to, and then when other people look at it, they look at it in like a totally different way.
You could think of it like balancing the economy as well, because I mean sometimes it's going to fall down and sometimes it's going to stand sturdy.
I guess kind of what Kamei was saying, we were looking at different people's perspective. What we talked about a lot in this class is like reading history backwards, right? Is that what you say? And so, you know, we may look at something now and, you know, interpret it completely different than what the timeline was going on, kind of like how somebody creates this and then we look at it and think, oh, maybe it's in pain, something like that. But so it's about reading something from the perspective of who did it.
I also think about, you know, a lot of the constructing and creating we do in here is around like essays and discussions and bringing ideas together and pulling them together like for a specific reason, like your beautiful thesis statements that you're all expert in now. So like I wonder if there's ways to modify the activity to more explicitly teach some of those historical thinking skills in a concrete way that can help students in the future kind of think about the development of those very kind of intangible out there skills, like historical thinking skills is so nebulous, and it's a struggle to obtain those. But I wonder if this could give like a concrete application to some of those notions of like putting together an argument, laying out evidence, like interpretive skills like a lot of you have brought up. So I think being able to show how this lesson has a practical application and can be beneficial to students is teachers, I think all teachers who are effective and open-minded, they want the best for their students. So if the lesson can almost show some of those connections and then the teacher can take it the rest of the way themselves. So in that way you have to be able to look, and this is something students were talking about beautifully yesterday, you have to be able to look at history from different perspectives. You can't get stuck in your own narrow version of, the Vietnam War was this, and the Civil Rights Movement was that, and the Civil War happened because of this one reason. Like, you can't do that. You have to think a lot bigger than that. You have to be more empathetic. You have to be able to question your assumptions about history and historical figures. The shift for both Common Core and Advanced Placement is a move towards more like thinking skills. And it's an honest acknowledgement of like the digital age. Like, it doesn't make sense to try to memorize every single detail. You have to know knowledge, but you need to know how to get information. You need to know how to think about information, and how to sift through all this information that's available to us more effectively, and like think creatively, right? Which is where that activity and like the motivation behind the activity yesterday comes from. And I had no training to do the types of things that we do in Pivot, or the types of things that Fred was doing yesterday with students. That kind of inquiry-based questioning. I just don't think teacher training has kept up, that's a huge problem, because if institutions like the Columbus Museum of Art or like Harvard Project Zero are saying we need to teach creative thinking, or in my case like historical thinking skills, and we're not training teachers how to do that effectively, there's a huge disconnect. And there's a disconnect for like this generation of students that's transitioning between No Child Left Behind and Common Core, that we're all of a sudden saying jump through these new hoops. And it's harder, I think, for the kids who are in the middle of that transition, because they don't have the backbone and structure in the younger grades and those like ways of thinking and those mindsets of thinking that I hope the younger generation who's coming up with Common Core is getting. So that's one of the things that I was thinking about. But even that process of watching, and anytime that I work with a museum, I kind of watch museum educators and the way that they talk to students maybe differently from classroom teachers, the way they inquire differently, the way that they ask more questions rather than give more answers. Like, that's beneficial for me in my own teacher practice. But why am I learning about it kind of out on my own, left to my own devices? Why isn't that part of teacher training?